Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and this is about SSL's solid-state logic's 4000B channel strip plugin and how you can make your mixes really punchy and fat. Great stuff. Without further ado, let's check out a song from Cyhra's forthcoming album, our third album. This is gonna be the next single called well, I'm not gonna reveal what it's called yet, but let's listen it first. I remixed now this just because I got the 4000B as a tryout from SSL. You can try this out, and I just wanted to because I love SSL stuff. My mix bus, I have the Fusion hardware device in there, Tegeler's SSL style bus compressor, and I've been using Softtube's Console 1 mixing system with the SSL 4000E. I mixed many albums with that, including the forthcoming Cyhra album, but I wanted to try out this channel strip. They released actually quite a while ago. So 4000B is, after that came 4000E, which is probably the most legendary. I've worked with a 4000E, 6000G series and stuff, but yeah, so let's listen a small clip of the song, and then I'm gonna just show you a few things on drums, bass, guitars, and vocals, what these can do. I used a couple of other plugins, but mainly I mixed this whole song by just using the channel strip. So here we go.
Despair gives you remedy. Please remember your father's eyes. Don't miss out on friends or foes. Life will be a rodeo. I hope to be a part of all. 'Cause there will come a time when I won't be around. Promises we make, we are puppets set up by wires till the end of days. Coming up, I'm coming up far away. Lightning fail, love defeats all wars in vain. Life is a hurricane.
All right, so that was a little bit of that song. Let's go through drums first, and the whole mix. So the channel strip is on all channels, like I always, work. So this way, my logic turned out to be an SSL 4000B. So if we check out the kick first, let's solo that and bypass it first. Quite a lot of difference. Your usual SSL stuff and boosting or whatever EQ on the kick, boosting lows, boosting highs, high mids, cutting some boxiness out from the kind of lower mids, gauging it a little bit, and using this compressor. So if we check out the compressor and the gate. Pretty powerful drums. The only samples I used a little bit on the kick, so it's kind of this. and I compressed it a little bit, and I think I added a little bit low end. So that's basically for the snap, and together the sample and the first the real kick. Now it just adds this punch. Same thing with snare. There's snare top and snare bottom, and a snare sample. So if we listen the snare now on its own, let's start from here without the engaged, and let me bypass it also here because I have something there too. Adding a little bit top, I really like this. This is quite close to the E series, this EQ. E series is, to me, it's a bit kinda sharper, almost like an API style preamp compared to Neve 1073 preamp. So Neve is a bit faster, API is a little bit aggressive, and I feel this is really kind of fat, but there is that E series and classic SSL style reliable compressor, really simple. So there's your ratio and then DSR mode, threshold, and release time. But you don't need much when it does the job just fine. And with this mic pre, I can kind of check out what happens when I take that off. So I can distort the snare, adding just some grit, and I really like what it does when I distort it, like 50 dB, but it actually is certain thickness. And then there's your in trim. If the way I usually set this is that I'm hitting like 6 somewhere around here, and then if it's too hot, I can back it up, or if the signal is too low, I can increase the input level. And then because I'm having compression, so I'm lowering output level a little bit, so it doesn't it goes a little bit red. But with this it doesn't really matter because this is an analog emulation. That's kind of the thing, with like basic digital stuff. Red light is kind of bad, but in this case it just emulates when you kind of overdrive SSL. As you hear, it doesn't sound bad, even though it went like red, like way ahead. It's just a great emulation of analog stuff. Let's check out what else I used there. Well, there's all these individual. This is played by Alex Landerberg, a drummer, by the way. So all of these kick sample, they go to kick bass, snare top, they go to snare bass, and then I have on these basses, I have the SSL2. I'm mainly using these as kind of like VCF faders, so when I get the balance right here, then I can do the kind of the whole mixing of the drum set with just like 5 faders. So if we listen to kick bass, so there's Pultec EQ. It just has a little bit fullness, and then what I did here, there's probably nothing. Yeah, no, the EQ is just on, because I feel that it does something to the sound, even though everything is 0. But if it's just on, you get a kind of more character. That's about it. Parallel drums, compression. There's the channel strip, and then there's a Pultec EQ and Arturias Neve, 33609 The drum verb is Tegler's Raumzeit machine. This is a plug-in controller, but it's a hardware device that I have here, and so on. And then let's listen the bass. If I bypass these all, so now it's just kind of like the amp. So it's Bougrain's bass knob and soft tubes Marshall Lemmy Murder 1 for the clanky sound. Nothing going on here except the EQ is just on, and then I'm doing the processing on the bass. I'm boosting 5 dB of 5K and tiny amount of 45 Hz and having the low cut at 45, and that's it. But it just, man, I like this. Okay, then rhythm guitars. On the individual guitar tracks, there's nothing going on. Actually, this should be off, except, again, it's the EQ is just in, although I'm not doing anything. Left guitars are Bad Boy and 5150, and same right. So there's 4 rhythm guitar tracks. So the Bad Boy, my Marshall JC Maynard, that I've mic'd with a Fredman style QSM57, my Marshall vintage cabinet. Same cabinet on the SISO 5150, but I had just one single SM57. So the guitars sound like this. So what I'm doing here, I'm boosting a little bit 16K, checking out some 3.8K, and then boosting 1.5 dB of, well, around 100 Hz. No compression, nothing, it just adds this thickness. Cool, and what else I'm doing there? There's a Wave C4 multiband compressor, jamming down the low ends, and a little bit of Ovexon Soothe. It's probably not doing really anything. Just jamming down those harsh upper mids a little bit. Great stuff. Really, this adds this certain thick SSL character. Lead guitar is probably same. And then let's check out the vocals. What I have, if we go to the vocals, they are here. If we solo them.
So count them carefully, each piece of this puzzle of memories. A sip of despair gives you remedy. Please remember your...
As you heard, it's a bit distorted. But in a context, it works.
So count them carefully, each piece of this puzzle of memories. A sip of despair gives you remedy. Please remember your father's eyes. Don't miss out on friends or foes. Life will be a rodeo, I hope.
So first, when we listen then in solo, I'm just gonna show you what I have there. So EQ is in, but I'm not doing anything, and I'm compressing a little bit. Let's actually take this lead vocal, verse lead vocal, so you can hear.
So count them carefully, each piece of this puzzle of memories. A sip of despair gives you remedy. Please remember your father's eyes. Don't miss out on friends or foes. Life will be a rodeo. I hope to be a part of all.
So compression, and the way I mix vocals, I guess it's a little bit unique. So I'm not EQing the individual tracks unless I really need to. I'm compressing them a little bit, jamming them down. Then they usually goes to vocal rider.
Oh, 'cause 'cause there will come a time when I won't be around. Promises we make, we are puppets held by wires till
the vocal rider is again smoothing them a little bit. Then I have the 4K, and I'm not doing anything, it's just on.
the end of days, coming up, far away. Life ain't fair.
But it adds certain thickness, the character of the channel strip. And then I used this vocal strip. So this was you can try this out too for 30 days.
Promises we make, we are puppets held by wires till the end of days, coming up, far.
So there's de-esser, get rid of those tss. There's de-closer, you get rid of those if there's a lot of like proximity. Well, with Jake, there isn't really anything. Only a couple of occasions I think there were some where this came handy. So it kind of removes those plosies, de-closer. I didn't use the compressor on this one, but I used the EQ, cut a little bit lows, and then tamed down some kind of with boxiness on lower mids and boosted highs.
Promises we make, we are puppets held by wires till the end of days, coming up, far away. Life ain't fair to all.
And you can change the order of these. So I changed that the equalizer is first, and then it's the de-esser and de-closer. Since I'm boosting highs, I want the de-essers to cut the harsh stuff, that stuff out there. But what I ended up using is what I always use, CLA 76. I think this is Chrysologist setting. I use this in the bass, and then there's a TLA 100. This is kind of LA 2A, so it kind of just smoothens out the vocal. So if I take those compressors off.
Promises we make, we are puppets held by wires till the end of days, coming up, far away. Life ain't fair to all, love defeats all wars in vain. Life is a hurt we make, we are puppets held by wires till the end of days, coming up, far away. Life ain't fair to all.
There's quite a heavy compression, but in this kind of dense, really thick song where drums are insanely big and a lot of guitars, I feel that I really need to smash the vocals so that they are in front and that they are not, buried under all everything. And this is a Wise compressor limiter. I'm having it on parallel, so it's kind of like parallel compressing, limiting. It kind of adds certain little flavor that I like.
Puppets held by wires till the end of days, coming up, far away. Life ain't fair.
And then the CL Epic is giving me the reverb and delay. Let's check out the backing vocals. This, again, the 4KB, they are boosting a little bit highs and stuff. And then the native, this one I used the compressor.
Promises we make, we are puppets held by wires till the end of days, coming up, far away. Life ain't fair to all, love defeats all wars in vain. Life is a hurricane.
So yeah, and all my effects, they have the SSL 4. It's not doing anything, it's just adding the character, because I really like this. EQ is in, not doing anything, but it's doing something. It's giving this little bit of this kind of thickness to it. So basically, SSL channel strip, if we don't count the kind of the amp seams, so these are real amps, real cabinets, There's only like well, Opto compressor on bass. That's by Softtube, and CLA Epic Waves R bass on bass. CLA 76 on a couple of occasions, and the Soothe. But mostly what I did, like it's just the channel strip. When the channel strip is done great, it's done well, you don't, at least I don't really need much. I don't need any extra distortion or whatever devices, because the channel strip is giving me that. And with the mic pre, you know, if I crank it, I can distort the sound in a nice way, make it feel thicker, then compressing and then chaining it down. There's not a auto gain here, so if you compress, it will be louder depending how much you compress. The more you compress, usually the louder it is, because you know it reduces the dynamic range. So then you just, you know, tame it down with this, and you can easily monitor the inputs and output levels. I'm usually aiming around here, but you know, if it sounds good when it's cranking, you know, it sounds good. It doesn't really matter. I guess my guitars were a bit like that, and the bass and some other stuff. Let me just show you what it actually does to the drums. So if I'm taking the channel strip out on these individual drums, because on these basses it's basically just there, these are my volume controls. But if you listen to the drums, and then I'm gonna just put them in. Obviously the drums are really well played and really well recorded, so I didn't really need to do any tricks, just EQing a little bit and adding a little bit of sample to kick and snare, and that was it. Let's listen to the song in the end. Hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this interesting and informative. I'll put the SSL links in the description below. I don't have any affiliation with SSL. I really do love their products. So you know, check this out. I like this a lot. Really punchy, fat sounding channel strip. Absolutely. I absolutely love it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye.